What's going on, everybody? It's Cool Convict Gaming here, bringing you another deck build. Today we're going to be looking at Lieutenant Belica. That's what I said. Yep, Lieutenant Belica. She is currently the next character I'm actually trying to get to level 10. I've already mastered Kwang. If you missed that video, you might want to go back and check out. It was a pretty good highlight video to knock off that, level 10 master. But anyway, we're going to get into Lieutenant Belica today. So if you've been following my videos here lately, you know I like to try to use superheroes to actually model the decks that I actually build for these characters. And got a couple of empty slots there because there are a few decks that I want to redo. Got rid of my extra Kwang that I didn't use, and who knows, maybe we'll make an extra Belica later. But today we're going to be focusing on the deck build, the Black Widow. Yes, the Black Widow. This deck has been very efficient in getting me wins with Lieutenant Belica. Most people like to try to play her, I don't know, many different ways. Me, I'm more of a burst caster slash a straight up just attack demolisher. I like to actually move around here and there with her. Pretty much I take middle lane with her. Anybody that is picking burst casters such as Belica, Gideon, Iggy, occasionally Countess, since some people seem to actually get how she works now. Middle lane. You should not be going any other lane other than the middle lane unless your team consists of a Gideon and a Belica, or a Gideon and an Iggy and a Belica. Like, you should never not want middle lane if you're going to be using a burst caster. It just makes no sense for you to be taking the smaller lanes when you have the biggest area of effect for covering a lane. You should be in the middle lane. I mean, unless you're getting double teamed, then y'all might want to rethink strategy. Okay, but anyway, getting into this deck. First card that we definitely want to go with, which is going to be the card for our Orb Prime. We're going to look at the Arch Mages. I don't see any other reason why to go with any other card, because we know Warlord is for physical. We're not physical. And the Centurion, this is not a tank build, so you don't need to be trying to worry about health. If you're pretty good at actually laning properly, not overextending, you should be pretty okay with the Archmages on Belica. Consumables, as you always know, these are always situational, but there is one change that I made with this deal here. Is I always start with the 2 cast tokens and the 1 barrier token, because 9 times out of 10, with you being a caster and you taking the middle lane, you're pretty much probably going to be going up against another caster. So having that little energy armor in the beginning definitely helps out. If you feel like you might be getting burned down too quick in the farming lane, you could always go back before you actually grab your first card and grab a healer token and do a little bit more farming. Usually me, I try to stay out on the board as long as I can. Usually at 9 card points is when I first make my first return, because then that way I can actually, make a little leeway in the attack area if I need to. So let's get down into the equipment cards. Okay, so the first equipment card that I usually try to go for once I actually start adding in is, you're gonna need mana quite a bit, quite quickly, with her being a caster. So I try to go for the Mage's Ward first. The Mage's Ward you definitely need, because with Belica being in the middle lane, and then also the fact that she has no escape. I mean, I play her pretty good to learn that I've learned how to escape with her, and I actually show you some gameplay video on that to show you different ways that I've escaped with her. But anyway, because you don't have a natural escape move for her, you want to definitely have wards. So the Mage's Ward is the first card you're going to grab, and you're going to load that up with 2 basic mana and a cast, and that should be pretty good for the early stages. Next one I actually try to go for after that is going to be the Wellspring Staff, because like I said, you need the mana. You need the mana. And what I actually try to do with this, and what you're going to notice about this particular deck, is every single card that I got has at least some type of attack, with the exception of the Crystal Conduit, which we'll get into that later. But I try to at least keep one attack power upgrade in each single card that I got. So the next card is the Wellspring Staff. You're going to load it up with a major cast, a pure mana, and a basic mana. Next card you're going to go for after this. Now this is going to depend on at this point in the game, after you get your first two cards going, if you want to go for more attack speed or if you want to go for more attack power. So if you're going for more attack power, which I usually do, I go for the Amp Crystal. So in this Amp Crystal, you're going to load it down with with two major casts and one minor cast. Pretty much speaks for itself, but when you fully upgrade this card, you get 150 mana, so that adds quite a bit more mana to your pool. At this point, you should be able to stay out there for a while before you need to actually recall to actually grab more mana. Okay, next card I go for after that is going to be my Elder Mage Amulet. The reason why is because she has no escape. Having a little bit of extra health can make all the difference, because with the moves that she used, she can pretty much cover a lot, and she's going to keep a lot of people running anyway. No one wants to get caught in that big bomb she has. Also, you have that drone that allows you to be able to take off the mana, and it zaps if they try to use abilities to take you down. So you have defense in order to get out of there. But what you load this Elder Mage Amulet up with is a divine health, yet another attack, major cast, and then a lesser health. And then at the end of this card, you get another 200 health. So you're adding a total of 600 health to your health pool. Next card we're going to go for after that, depending on if you need the armor or not, I usually try to go for the Crystal Conduit, so that way I can actually start tearing through their armor, because at this point you're gonna need penetration. People are gonna start building towards you, and you gotta be able to actually counter that by just knocking right through their armor. What you're gonna load the Crystal Conduit down with is 2 focus shocks and a basic mana. Now when you completely upgrade this card, you get yet another 150 mana into this. So by this time you got all the mana you need to pretty much just go around, and at this time you're not really worrying about laning too much. If your team is pushing well, you're probably heading into inhibitors by this time, and you can just start knocking them down. So what I usually do after that is getting into my last 2 cards. We're going to get rid of the Mage's Ward, because at this time, yes, you need wards, but if you're doing pretty well, let's rephrase that. If your team is having a hard time against the other team, do not get rid of the Mage's Ward. If your team is doing really well against the other team, you pretty much get rid of the Mage's Ward. If they're making predictable moves, like one guy every time he respawn, he just continues to go to the same lane, well, you can pretty much predict he's probably going to that lane, and you can get ready to defend against him. Wards, like I said, some people think you need them the entire match. I'm a person that think you only need them when you need them. Otherwise, they're just kind of holding the space that's not necessarily needed. Now, I could be wrong, but hey, I've won quite a few matches, and I think I do pretty well not always having wards in my deck the entire time. So situationally, make this choice. If you're having a bad time, I would say keep your Mage's Ward a little bit longer. Go ahead and grab your whirling wand so you can get more attack speed going on. It adds in the energy damage and attack speed when you actually fully upgrade it. But what I load this card down with is a major kinetic, a major cast, and a minor kinetic. That's going to be all the speed you need with Belica. She's a caster. She's not supposed to be out there just going crazy. Although I may try an experimental build where she shoots a little faster. I want to see what that actually does, but right now this seems to work just fine. Okay, so after you get that, now you go back, drop your Mage's Ward, pick up the Thermal Bond, and what you're going to load this one down is with a Divine Barrier, a Minor Barrier, and a Health. This should complete you at 60 points, and this at this point in the game, you should be able to actually really do some damage and really be a presence on the battlefield. I mean, clearing out minions shouldn't be a problem for you. And the occasions where you got enemies that are too confident, what they're gonna find out is Belica packs a punch. This has been my Black Widow guide for Belica. Feel free to use it. Like always, this is an open video, so if you got any suggestions that you would make to change this build, let me know. If you like this build, you're more than welcome to use it. I mean, it works for me. It could work for anyone. I get this all the time. A lot of my buddies want to know what I use when I'm playing my different characters. Well, here you go. The Black Widow build for Belica. Also, check me out on Twitch. I am now streaming on Twitch, so you can also check me out over there and actually see some good old Paragon gameplay.